Good afternoon and welcome to a season of purpose here at Peace Lutheran Church. See, when you come to Peace, you will meet people who are excited about a lot of things, but especially we are excited about two things. We are excited about seeing how God is touching lives through the ministries and people of peace. We are excited to see how God is at work transforming lives. And we are excited about shaping and transforming the community that God has made us a part of here at Fort Myers. So the season of purpose at Peace is about encouraging, inviting every friend and member of Peace to dedicate, to commit 2 days each month to serving the community, to transform the community in many different ways. There will be a lot of different opportunities. So in the lead up to rolling out the season of purpose, I will be interviewing some of the people who have experienced God, who have experienced peace to be their spiritual home. Because when you come to Peace, you meet some absolutely incredibly fascinating people. And one of the most fascinating people is Mark Sanders, who is with me here this afternoon. Mark is a Broadway artist, very well known in the Fort Myers area, and you are also our artist in residence here for the past season, for this upcoming season. And I know I can speak for many, probably for all of us at Peace, that we are just humbled to be able to listen to you, to relate to you, to know you on a personal basis. So before we even move on, Mark, I want to seize this opportunity, to say to the people who are watching online, thank you, Mark, for being a part of Peace.
It is my pleasure, and I am the one that's humbled. Every time I get to walk through those doors and every smile that's on the faces of those that are here, it not only brightens my day, but then to be able to share the gifts that God has given me through song, through the words of the music that Rick and I choose, it's humbling because I know the Spirit is here with us. And
Amen.
Each one of, we don't all have the best days and every day of the week and things like that, but when you walk through these doors, you kind of leave all of that behind, and what you have brought to Peace Lutheran and the excitement that is here is overwhelming, and it is a blessing to all here. Truly.
Thank you, Mark. I appreciate this a lot, and I want to pick up something you just mentioned. You said when you walk through these doors, sometimes we come here, it's been the best day of the week, but sometimes we get here and it was just a terrible day, and we feel down, discouraged, frustrated, stressed out, all of the above. But you say when you come here, you feel there is a presence of the Spirit here. So you have experienced God's presence, God's Spirit here at Peace.
Absolutely, and it carries throughout the week. It's just a reminder. Growing up in the church, I was blessed to have parents who were part of the church, and not this particular church. I'm from Southern Illinois originally, but to have that base and that grounding. Not everyone has experienced that through life, of course, but it is just, we don't have the best of days or best of weeks, but it's just that reminder of the joy that we can come here finally and congregate and have people with a like mind. And we all go through things, and there is a way out of all of the noise that's around us in so many levels. And to come here and find a common purpose, to be here and to go through our trials, our tribulations with others who are going through the same thing, and to come together and know that we're not alone.
You're not alone. Now, Mark, I know we have talked before. You are a man of faith. I mean, you just alluded to this that you grew up, in a family where that faith, that relationship to Jesus was part of your everyday life, of your upbringing. Tell me a little bit about now. You have become a well-known artist in Fort Myers. Beyond that, all over. What does faith mean to you today? Maybe even compared to when you were a child and when mom and dad were feeding you that faith. Now you are a grown-up, successful artist. How does faith in Jesus shape your life today?
Well, as a kid, sometimes they just made us go to church.
Really?
But now it's a choice. And that faith that I was given as a child, now I always wanted to go to church, actually, because my friends were there and things like that. But as I grow older and I am running around the country, I was in New York City for 15 years, and you just have that base and that ground. We're built on a rock and not sand. So
Right.
once that rock and foundation is solidified, and how that faith has carried with me throughout my life, I think every door that I get to walk into is gone through faith, through me believing that I'm in the right place at the right time. Things don't always go my way, but I trust that God will lead me in those places, and it brought me here. I was supposed to be in Fort Myers for a year or two just to clear my mind, get out of the city for a little bit, and now it's been 13 years because doors have opened up and I have found a home here, and I carry that throughout. I am overwhelmed, I am humbled in every aspect, whether I'm singing with the symphony, whether I'm traveling the country with my show One Voice, the music of Barry Manilow, which as I'm listening more and more to his songs, there's a lot of faith-driven songs that he has, and whether he knew that at the time or not, but through my eyes and through my heart, I feel that, and I think to project that to the audience or the congregation, that grounding has really been something that has catapulted me into the man I am now. And I get to convey that to audiences, and they can see something a little bit different in me. I've always wondered what it is about me, because I don't know what people see or hear, but it's just me to continue to have that base of who I am. And when I know that, I feel like I'm stronger and stronger each day.
Especially Mark, someone like you who is on stages, who performs, and who has that God-given talent to be an artist. But when you're on stage, you may have had a great day, you may have had a tough day, and then you need to turn the switch, and you need to be there, for the people who have come to listen to you, to see you, to be around you. Does faith help you to really, even if it's a bad day, but I need to really be there, how do you deal with those moments when you say, this is not going my way today, but I now need to be on this stage and I want to do the best that I can?
Well, yeah, there's a lot of responsibility that comes with that, and you have to understand that. I'm not just getting up there and saying, here's my voice, and aren't I great?
Yeah.
The only reason that I've been given this voice is because of the faith that I have in God, and the Spirit is always there. Now, I don't always feel in good voice all the time. That's another thing that I have to be mindful of.
Right.
And there's a lot of nerves that go into it, and there's a lot of stress around starting a show or learning the words, making sure I remember the words, what song's next, or whatever. But at the end of the day, once you get up in front of people, and that responsibility and that courage and that faith has to be there, again, as that foundation to say, I have something to say, And I know they are there to listen and hear, not just a nice voice or a band that's with me or an orchestra or something like that, but it's a whole experience. And that faith, it's just like I know that God has given me this, and it will carry through, and it will, whatever, it's a live theater,
Right.
or it's a live, singing live is, whatever happens, happens. And whatever happens, I know is supposed to happen. And you have to look at it that way, and I don't get upset. Sometimes at myself, yes, I'm like, oh, I forgot those words, but it really doesn't matter, because when that spirit and that faith and everything is there,
Right.
it doesn't matter what happens, because God will take care of the rest.
You know, what makes me almost jealous a little bit, listening to you, Mark, when people come to a concert, they listen to your music, they may have come down, hopeless, stressed out, frustrated, and then that music makes them, feel joyful again, feel hopeful again, motivates, inspires them. So there is certainly something divine about this. Now, if somebody, would come to you, Mark, and say, listen, you are always seeing you're always such a joyful, exuberant, inspirational, bubbly artist. How do you do that? How are you always like that? How is that possible? I would like to have that for myself. How would you respond to that?
A lot of coffee.
A lot of coffee, and praise the Lord for coffee, yes.
That helps. I don't know. Having a lot of responsibility in that, you just be yourself.
Just be yourself.
And that is me. And I'm trying not to put on airs or, and yes, it's tough sometimes to, I don't want to say, well, I'll say always be on, but I always have to be myself, and I know there's a responsibility there. But it is me, and it is bringing that joy that I've been given throughout my life. And, at my age and being overwhelmed with the response that I have received from people, it's, how can you not be happy? And there is, as, even in a grocery line, I've talked about this in some of my songs here at Peace. I like to see, to ask the person at the register, how was your day? How are you doing today?
Yes.
And they may get it, may not, but they're like, it's going well. Thank you for asking, because they don't get that. And to put a smile on their face makes me happy. And so, even to say hi to someone as you pass and look them in the eye, they're not used to that.
Right.
Especially from New York City. They're like, it's looking in my eye. Something's wrong.
Something wrong, huh?
But no, just to get a smile from somebody, and then that will pass on. And, music is universal. And to put a smile on something, because everyone has a different response to a song, to the words of a song. I think it's so important to have those words so clear. And when I go through a song and go over the words for myself, what do they mean to me? And when the words become real in my life, I can convey that to a congregation or to an audience, and hopefully they will then hear the song in a different way than they did before, or
Right.
really listen to the words. And I appreciate you allowing me in these situations as artist in residence, which I'm honored to do for another year, is to allow me to tell a story beforehand.
Yeah.
It's not just getting up and singing a song and sitting down. It is about the reason this song is important for me today, and to tell the story, whether it's, through my life or through what the song has to say, because then it brings them to listen to the song a little bit differently. Whether it's a song they've heard 1,000 times before, when you put my own personal story before it, hopefully they will then look at it differently through their own eyes and their own experiences, and see it differently and listen to those words differently. And I think through faith, God takes care of the rest. I can only do what I can do
Right.
in this, and I think it's exciting
Right.
in finding that out, because I get a lot of feedback afterwards,
Right.
and that means everything
Yeah.
to me, whether it's bringing them to tears because of what's going on in their own life, and I have no idea what
Yes.
song will touch someone, and that's just something that God takes care of.
Mark, having been around, for a while, one of the things that you radiate, even for someone who has just known you for a little bit, there's just a sense of joy and love that comes from you. It is almost impossible to be around you. You said you are trying to put a smile on someone's face, and I found it's almost impossible to not have a smile on the face when somebody being around you, because there's just something contagious about you. And it's not just a contagious joy, but there is also that sense of a contagious love almost. You just feel accepted. And you mentioned something a little bit ago about, in the last instance, it is about having the courage, having the guts to be who you are. Yes, I am on a stage, I am performing, but it's still the same Mark that is not on stage, that is struggling with, who needs a coffee at 6 o'clock in the morning, and is getting tired and worn out. It's the same Mark. And I was just wondering, Mark, has that been difficult for you to have that courage to let people see who you are, to be who you are, no matter where you are? Because it makes you vulnerable, doesn't it, to be who you are?
Well, it does. Well, you're exposed when you're on stage, and yeah, it has taken a while, because in New York, auditioning for shows and things like that, you're trying to figure out what they want to see, for a specific show or a specific character, and you try to fit into this mold, and you don't get the job, and then you're like, wah, wah. So wonder what that is. Why is it me? What can I do? And then you find out it was just because I didn't fit the costume, or there's so much that's out of our control. So I think, moving here to Florida and then finding out who I am. Because in New York, I was a number, hundreds and hundreds of guys auditioning for one role or one show, and after years and years of that, you kind of lose who you are. And so being here and being given the opportunity that I have to create my own concerts, which kind of blew me away. I'm like, ooh, create my own concert. What song do I want to sing? And have a whole 2 hours of that? Ooh, okay. So, and then as I've learned what my strengths are and what I know how to do now,
Right.
I have found myself and my
Right.
voice, if you will, these past 13 years being down here, of being given that opportunity, and that it is a lot of responsibility, like I said earlier, but I've learned a lot about myself.
Yeah.
And I've learned that I just want to be myself. And when you can do that, the rest just kind of falls into place. Is it difficult? Yeah, it is. I'm not going to say it's easy. But, you talk about the smile. It's, I learned that from my family. My dad, if you see every single picture that he's in, and those who have met my dad and mom, that he always has a smile on his face. No matter what, even the trials and tribulations that they've had physically these past couple years.
They dealt with a lot of illness, didn't they?
What's that?
They dealt with a lot of illness in their
did.
life.
Mom had breast cancer, and my dad had a kidney transplant. And, when I was in the hospital in St. Louis, when my dad was having his transplant, the nurses were just like, we love going into your dad's room because he always has a smile on his face. And he always makes us laugh. And we need that because there's so much going on in the hospital right now. But at the end of the day, when they go in there, they know that they can breathe a little bit. Even though he was going through so much, he always had that smile. And to learn from that, and none of it is fake. And I would never want to come in and put a fake smile on my face.
Yeah.
But when you do walk through those doors, here especially, and pretty much anywhere, it's just, it just, that joy comes out.
The
and
joy comes
it just
out.
is natural, and it just, to see another smile on someone else's face when they don't have one to start with,
Yeah.
it's exciting and it's real. And I know that in my own reality of being who I am and being real and just knowing that's good enough, who I am, and not trying to be somebody else is pretty exciting.
You know, that is, you know, more than any success in a career or art, to get to this point where you can say, you know, I know who I am, and that's enough. I don't need to be more than who I am. And if who I am is not enough for someone, well, then that's okay. I can live with that.
Well, we can't please everybody,
Yes.
you know, and you know, you try to put on airs for certain things or certain areas or certain places that we go and whatnot. And you know, in one of your sermons before, you said we're all a child of God.
Yes.
That has always stuck with me, because no matter what, where we are in life, financially, you know, we're not millionaires, trillionaires, and if they are, then fantastic.
Yeah.
But it shouldn't change who we are, and because we're all a child of God, and we don't take any of that with us. So be the best that we can be, and I'm still learning every single day to be the best that I can. And you know, every note isn't always perfect.
Right.
Every word is not always on par. But the message is there, and I think that is what is the truth. And as long as we can remain in the truth, that will propel us to continue to be who we are and what God wants us to be.
You know, this has become one of my most treasured convictions, that no matter what happens in life, the greatest thing that will never change is I'm a child of God. You know, whether I am on a mountaintop or the darkest valley, I'm still a child of God. And I will never be anything more than that, and I will never be anything less than that. And you know, and for me, what excites me about coming to peace and being at peace as a pastor, and you are just amplifying that voice, is, you know, peace is a place to be safe. You can be who you are. You know, if you have the best day of your life, the worst day of your life, if you feel you don't even want to get out of bed, just come, and it's safe to be who you are. And I think, Mark, sometimes the greatest gift of faith, the greatest gift of faith that we can give to another person is not some spectacular sermon song, whatever it is, but to just not judge and to just embrace with grace and love, you know. And because, you know, when you mentioned it's, you know, it makes you vulnerable to be who you are. And so many, you know, you have reached a point where you said, you know, I am who I am, and I'm okay with that. But then I think both of us know people who have not gotten to that point, and they suffer under that constant judgment, under that constant harshness that is being put on them, that having to, and they're trying to be someone they are not, and the more they try, the more desperate they become. And I wish they could just come and realize, you know, you're a child of God, and who you are, that's enough.
Well, God made us who we are.
Yes.
And and thank goodness, because if we were all the same, then what a boring life that would be.
Yes.
So, you know, some people are blessed with being in the right family or being, you know, but that's stuff that we have no control over.
Yes.
You know, but we do have control over how we accept that, and through God and through our faith. And it's so important to know that we are individuals, and there are other people going through what we are going through, and we will make it through the rain, if you will.
We will
So,
make it
I was
through
just
the
listening
rain.
to that in the car on the way over. So it's exciting.
And sometimes we just have to choose to dance in the rain if you don't make it through the rain.
Exactly. Whether you can dance or not, it doesn't matter. People are like, oh, I wish I could sing like you, or I wish I could sing. I'm like, well, why don't you? Go for it. Sing in the shower, sing out here, but you know, you make a joyful noise, some more noisy than others. But it's the joy. Does it make you happy? Well, yeah. Well, then do it.
Yeah.
You know, you don't have to be on stage or anything like that. That might not be where your thing is. Go sing some karaoke, you know, or which is what got my start here in Florida.
I will put you on the spot in a moment to sing something, Mark. But you know, for me, when it comes bringing it back to peace and the season of purpose and transforming lives through the power of God and transforming the community in all the different aspects that make up a community like Fort Myers. I think the way we transform our community is to empower, to inspire people to just say, you know, who you are is enough. You don't need to reach for the stars, or you don't need to try to copy this person or that person. God made you. You are a child of God. You are beloved. You are accepted. You are redeemed. You don't need to try to be someone you are not. And I think if we can plant that seed in someone's heart, that life will be transformed. And if we can plant that seed in our community of Fort Myers, this community will be transformed. Because transformation really starts when we just get to this point, I know who I am, and that's enough. Mark, now you just segued into that perfectly. Just, you know, if you don't know what to sing, just sing anyway. So you are a performer. What a cappella verse can you give us? I know you are just such a multi-talented person. I would just treat us to a couple of lines of any song that you can think of.
Oh my gosh. Well, I've been listening in the car and it's been raining. So, we dreamers have our ways of facing rainy days, and somehow we survive. We keep our feelings warm, protect them from the storm, until our time arrives. Then one day the sun appears, and we come shining through those lonely years. I made it through the rain. I kept my world protected. I made it through the rain. I kept my point of view. I made it through the rain, and found myself respected by the others who God rained on to and made it through. That's enough for now. No, you know, and as I was listening to the words of that, it's like, oh, you know, we're all going through so much.
Yes.
If we just solidify who we are, we can make it through the rain, and other people will respect us because we remain who we are. You know?
We made it through the rain and we survived. Just want you to be aware, I did not give Mark a heads-up warning or preparation. I just put him on the spot to sing. And thank you for treating us with that beautiful piece of music, Mark. And you know, when you are coming to the season of purpose, when you are coming to peace, you meet some incredible people. You encounter some great music, worship services, programs, but above all, when you come to peace, when you are part of this congregation, whether it's as a friend or a member or in any other way, we will lead you to the point where you can look in the mirror and say, I know who I am. And that's enough. Because who I am, that's who God made me. And I don't need to be someone else. Be part of the season of purpose at peace. Thank you for tuning in. We will have another edition of A Season of Purpose soon. Thank you for being part of peace. Thank you for checking us out. Please come and be part. Thank you, Mark, for spending this time.
Thank you so much for letting me be part of it.
God bless you.
all.
Thank you.